I did a huge festival at the LA Sports Arena with Janelle Monae and Common and
Oh,
Ludacris.
oh, what was it called? What was that
Um,
called?
it was called the Hip Hop 101 Music and Arts Festival. I was a hustler. I like to make money. I like to work. So that industry liked me. So I did that, and that's how I ended up getting into concerts. We just slowly progressed, and eventually we got into festivals. I was there for a few years, and then I started my own agency.
Mom was a hustler.
She was.
Yeah.
She was. All while she was, working two full-time jobs. I was around 13 at the time, 12, 13. And she just told him, hey, you need to come clean. And I haven't told him. You need to tell him, what's going on and why you haven't been around and the things that you've dealt with. You need to tell him in your own words. It's one of those inflection points, right? Where you get some information or something happens in your life and it alters the course.
Hi, everybody, this is Dan and Dante. Welcome to another episode of Middle-Aged Mess, the show for people who haven't worn shoes with laces for at least 5 years. All right, today we are talking marketing. We are talking stories of struggle. We are talking hard scrabble background. We're talking Arias Webster Berry. Arias, what's happening?
I am chilling like a villain.
I love it. That's my guy. I love your studio there. I mean, I feel like we should be having a disco and we do a little dance party or something.
Yeah, man. This is actually my everyday office. Instead of just white walls and a couple of degrees and plaques and awards, I would actually take a little time and turn it into something.
Well, I'll tell you what, if chilling like a villain was a room, it would be that room right there.
You got to hit it right on the head.
I like talking about, where people came from. I want to know the evolution story. I want to know what's going on before you came here today. Tell me a little bit like where you grew up and a little about your background, and let's talk about that. See who you are.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Dallas. I grew up here. I am, unfortunately, a Cowboys fan.
It's a rough year. Oh, like you said, a rough 20 years, but I won't make
20.
fun of you. I may drop Cooper Rush into a conversation at some point, but I'll do it quickly so it won't hurt too badly.
Hey, he's awesome. But yeah, I mean, I was born here. I grew up in San Diego, sunny San Diego, where it never rains. And
what high school?
University City High School.
Okay, cool. I went to University High School in LA. I always see if somebody went to University in San Diego to see if we're got a little karma background going there.
Yeah. It would definitely gave me some contrast, right? Dallas is very different than San Diego, but I always tell people I got my heart from Texas and I get my mind and my hustle from California.
Why'd you guys go to San Diego? Why the move?
My mom got a job offer. It was a kind of a once in a lifetime type of deal. The company she was working for got bought out, and they said, "Hey, you can either pack up and move, or go look for a new job." She said,
"Pretty easy choice." And I'll tell you what, to go to San Diego. San Diego's a tough place to turn down. I mean, maybe the best weather on the planet.
I think I was 11 or 12, and I didn't even know what San Diego was. She said, we're moving, and I said, well, where's that?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Luckily, it wasn't, like Michigan or, Wyoming or something like that, where there's no people or it's extremely cold. It's 70 and,
70.
No clouds,
that's it. Period. It's 70. That's what it is. It's 70. How soon were you surfing after you moved there?
Actually, it took quite a while. I think I didn't surf for the first time until maybe like 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe 16, 17. Yeah.
It's early enough.
Kayak, swimming, scuba dive, all that stuff, playing, football and basketball on the beach and soccer. But surfing, that one took a while.
All right. Well, you were a typical San Diego kid, sounds like.
Absolutely.
Except you like the Cowboys.
Absolutely, run around.
Which couldn't have been good for your popularity at that time.
No, Chargers, even though the Chargers definitely suck and never accomplish anything in their entire existence.
We're so bitter in LA. I gotta tell you, in LA, we're so bitter that we got the Chargers. Like anybody but the Chargers. God forbid. I mean, we got San Diego's refuse. I mean, it's a little embarrassing.
Basically, I mean, it was like for what? LA doesn't need another team. It didn't make much of a difference in them going to LA. They're still putting up the same stats, so.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you're a San Diego kid growing up there. Did you stay there or did you move around after that?
Yeah, so I left, I want to say when I was 18, went to Orange County for a couple of years, went to LA for a couple of years, back to San Diego, and then just bottom fell out of the economy, right?
Yeah.
California was just demolished in the housing crisis and, short-term credit freeze and blah, blah, blah. And I stuck it out. I was doing business. At that time, I was doing concerts. I was doing very large festivals. I did a huge festival at the LA Sports Arena with Janelle Monae and Common and
Oh,
Ludacris.
oh, what was it called? What was that
Um,
called?
it was called the Hip Hop 101 Music and Arts Festival.
Okay.
So
That sounds
it was a
amazing.
big deal. Yeah, it took a little bit of my soul and a year and a half of my
Did you end up making money on
um,
it though? Did you make a couple bucks?
I made a little bit, man, but to be honest, we made some critical errors. We did not. There was a couple like key things that we didn't do, and it didn't hit the way we wanted it to. And
So I'll tell you a really quick story. So in my previous life, I was dealing with hotel development, and I had the Queen Mary. We were running the Queen Mary for a while. You know, the ship that's in Long
okay,
Beach. And so there's a
yeah,
park,
yeah, yeah.
next door to it called the Queen Mary Park. And I said, you know what, we should do concerts in this park. Like we should bring music to the Queen Mary. And we did that. And then the guy who owned like the major part of the company said, all right, I want to do a festival this summer. We had about 6 weeks to do it. And I said, dude, you can't do a festival in 6 weeks. We're gonna lose our ass. We're gonna lose like $250,000. He's like, no, fuck it. We're gonna do it. I have faith in us. So we did it. We threw a festival, and it was kind of like a half hip hop, we had like Big Sean, and I can't remember the names. We had a couple like pretty decent names, and we didn't lose $250,000. Fortunately, we lost $500,000.
When you said 250, I was like, how did they do a festival for 250?
No, that was going to be the
Man, I need
loss.
to talk
That was
to him
going to be the
after this.
loss. Yeah, no. We ended up losing $500,000 in 6 weeks. And I'm just like, and the guy came to me and I'm like, dude, I told you he couldn't fucking do it. What's wrong? Fortunately, he had the money to lose, so he didn't kill me. But yeah, that was my brief foray into festivals. We hired somebody after that to
Yeah.
do them later on. Anyway.
Smart. You learned your lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody goes in, it's going to cost 100,000. It's going to cost a couple 100,000. I think our initial budget was around 450, and then we landed, I think, almost 8. Yeah, it was tough.
Right. Well, at least it wasn't the Fire Festival, so you did better than that guy, you know?
Hey, that is wow. You want to talk about a colossal fuck up?
I mean,
Jesus.
you know what's interesting about the Fire Festival? The thing about, I'm always impressed, the guy fucking raised like $35 million. Like, God
Right,
bless him for
right.
raising $35 million for a concert. You know, crazy.
And you still fucked it up.
And he still fucked it. And a legendary, epic fuck up. He raised 35, and I think he lost 60.
It's like, how?
He's out of jail now. He's
What do you do?
He's throwing another festival now. Now that he's out of jail. All right,
Signing
we're
up
still
for that
talking about
one.
you. We're talking about you, Arias. So you tried to throw a festival, and then okay, so you did something. You made a few dollars, and then where'd you move on to?
Yeah, honestly, that was a hard loss. So I went and got a job, and I still did a few little things on the side, but I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do that again. Also the economy was just in the crapper. So I took a couple years and kind of moved around, and then I just said, I need to go back to Dallas. This is just crap. There were no jobs. All of my clients have went out of business. A lot of them have lost their homes, lost their extra cars, lost their wives, lost their kids.
Right. Well, Arias, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but so I read your bio before you came on the show, and I read about your childhood, and I think you've maybe skipped past it intentionally, but you had some shit going on as a kid. I was kind of interested in hearing about that. I don't know if you want to talk about it or not. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that takes us way before then. But so we moved to San Diego, I want to say in 98, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And I was in middle school. I go into high school, 9th grade, and my dad passes, and it was tough. I came home from school, and my mom was just like, "Hey, I need to talk." And she says, your dad passed. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, it just seemed so foreign. I mean, me and my dad already had a complicated relationship. He wasn't really around. He, struggled with drug addiction and, a lot of issues. But we had just had an amazing conversation. We had flew to Dallas. And
but he was still with your family? Like it was still your mom and your dad, or they divorced? You just moved
they weren't together now.
Oh, so you moved to San Diego with your mom?
Yeah, yeah, and he was
Got it.
still in Dallas.
Got it.
But we had just come back. I want to say maybe 2 months prior. We had went to Dallas because my mom, she never really told me all of the things that was going on with him. And
Mm.
God bless her. She of all the things that my dad did and the struggles that he had, she never talked ill of him. She never spoke ill of him. She shielded me from a lot of the things that was going on in his life. However, I was around 13 at the time, 12, 13, and she just told him, "Hey, you need to come clean." And I haven't told him, you need to tell him, what's going on and why you haven't been around and the things that you've dealt with. You need to tell him in your own words.
Yeah.
So I think we were there for maybe Thanksgiving or something like that. And, we walked down to the local basketball court and we played a little bit and he just told me the truth. And I asked a lot of questions and he was as honest as he could be with a, 13-year-old kid. And
So what was the truth? What were the
it,
things he was doing?
I mean, the truth was he got caught up in, what we would call now the opioid epidemic. They
Mm.
call it the crack epidemic. He wasn't really on crack cocaine. He was weed, heroin, all kinds of various drugs that were flooded into the neighborhoods. He was
Yeah.
a full ride scholarship to Rice University. He was like 6'4", playing basketball.
To Rice University?
Um,
Rice?
yeah,
Rice is
yeah,
an
Rice University in
amazing,
Texas.
unbelievable school.
Yeah, so I mean, he was a gifted athlete. He was a smooth talker. He was charismatic. He was a good looking guy, obviously, right?
Chip off the old block,
Um,
Arias. Chip off the old block. Come on.
exactly, and these drugs and things were party drugs, right? A lot of these things were moving around, especially when you are an athlete and you're doing well, and you're starring on the basketball team and these things. He got caught up in that and he struggled with it for decades. Obviously later we found that a lot of those drugs came into the United States by way of the military,
Oh, wow.
which is crazy,
Yeah.
and something that there were, Senate hearings about and all that kind of stuff. But, he dealt with that. And because of that, he, was in and out of jail. He wasn't around. And my mom, she loved him, but her first priority was me. So she said, "Hey, when you've got your crap together, you can come around to your son. When you don't, you go figure it out and get yourself together."
And you never knew any of this stuff. You were a little kid and your dad wasn't
Yeah, yeah.
around
I
as
mean,
far as
well,
you know.
I think there was one time a letter came in the mail from him and it said correctional facility. And
Okay.
I think I was maybe like 7 or 8. I could read.
Yeah.
So I was like, correctional facility, doesn't that mean jail?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
In
she's
some
like,
places, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, he had sent me letters, and what she would do is she would take them out of the envelope, and she would give me the letter, but she would take it out of the envelope, so I didn't see where it was coming from, right?
Oh,
But I
wow.
would get correspondence from him. Sure.
Was it better that she did that? Was it better that she hid it from you? Or do you think that as a parent, I don't know if you have kids or not, but do you think as a parent, she should have told you or allowed you to understand who your father was and what he was going through, which would have been better?
No, I think she did it perfectly.
Okay.
I think I honestly believe, when you're a kid, your mother, your father, they're your heroes, right? It very much has to do with the how you see yourself because you're half of each. So her not allowing that to be part of my psyche as I was growing up, I think that was a good move. And I think it was even, more of a masterful stroke to force him to tell me once I was of an age where I
Yeah.
could understand. I was angry, right? I was like, what the fuck? But um I had the opportunity to talk to him and hear it in his own words. And, when I talked to him, he was ashamed, but he was honest about it. And for all his faults, I can at least say that he told me like a man.
Yeah.
Uh,
Came clean, as they
and
say.
then exactly. And then, a couple months later, I find out that he's passed.
Well, I guess,
So,
I guess the good news is that you had that talk before he did, thank God, right?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a movie, right? It's like,
Yeah, totally. Totally.
things change and they're getting better. And he had got on his feet and, things were doing better. And then, that happens, right? So that had an impact on me. You being in high school is already tough, right? Your
Yeah.
body's changing, your brain's changing. You're the low man on the totem pole in your school because I was a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, I played sports and stuff, so that gave me a little bit of a leg up, but still, I'm pimple faced braces,
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
kind of
you or
stuff.
me. Yeah,
So
just a little
yeah,
darker.
so I was trying to figure it out, and then I get dealt this horrendous information, and now I'm distracted and I'm angry, and all these different things. So it definitely affected my performance at school. It affected my mood. I found myself mad a lot, and I didn't understand why. It wasn't until several years later that I realized that that was as a result. That was kind of my reaction to his passing. Therapy and group, that wasn't a big thing back then, right?
Yeah,
So it was
yeah.
just to
We're too
figure it
tough
out.
to
I
do
think I
that.
think my mom took me once.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think my mom took me once, but I was like, I don't want to talk to some random person about my feelings. So
Yeah, no, I got it. We're
um,
men, dopey and stupid and clueless men. Can't
yeah,
help ourselves.
yeah. So yeah, it was tough, but later I realized that it's probably one of the, I won't say one of the best things, but it had an impact, and it actually helped me get through the area that I was in, because my mom had done some maneuvering. I still don't understand how she did it, but she got me into she got me into University City High School. Right,
Okay.
we lived in Claremont, so I was supposed to go to a different high school. She figured out that the middle school not too far fed into this other high school, was in a nicer neighborhood, better education, smaller class sizes, people with a higher net worth. So she figured out how to get me into that middle school, like in the last, I think it was the last semester
Mom
of
was
my
a
eighth grade
hustler.
year.
Mom was a hustler.
She was.
Yeah.
She was. All while she was, working two full-time jobs. So, getting into this area, a lot of these kids are privileged. A lot of these kids have access to their family's medicine cabinet. They smoke weed all day.
Yeah.
They want to go surf. They're doing poppers and all this different stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not exposed to any of these things, but because of the issues with my dad and his drug addiction, I was just no, no drugs for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was everywhere. There was cocaine, all kinds of stuff everywhere with these kids. But because of his issues, I think that it really saved me from maybe going down the same path. Just being unaware and in an area that I was kind of out of my depth.
Look, kids and money is never a good combination, that's for sure. Well, look, I mean, kids either go one way or the other. They either end up like their parents, kind of doing things, or they decide that they don't want to go that route and they go the complete opposite. Again,
Yeah,
thank God you had that discussion with them. I mean, that was a big deal.
exactly. That's why it's one of those inflection points, right? Where you get some information or something happens in your life, and it alters the course. At the
Right.
time, I didn't know. At the time, my mom was like, "What the hell is wrong with this kid? He was fine, and now his grades are crap, and he's mad all the time. He doesn't want to talk, all this different stuff." But ultimately, that experience, set me on a course that kept me, truly out of trouble.
Okay, so let's start moving on. So what were your first forays into, the professional world? Let's get to where you are now.
Yeah, I moved. I had already always been in kind of the marketing side of things. So I started doing parties when I was in high school, did it in college, got into some parties, throwing parties at local nightclubs in San Diego, even when I wasn't old enough to be there.
Of
I
course
was
not.
like 18, 19, promoting 21 plus nightclubs.
Look,
Um,
back then we had fake
and
IDs and nobody knew it. There was no computers back then. You just needed a piece of paper that said you were 21. It was fantastic.
and then you just move. There's no scanners, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, and I was a hustler. I like to make money. I like to work. So that industry liked me. So I did that, and that's how I ended up getting into concerts. We just slowly progressed, and eventually we got into festivals.
Did you ever have a
The
festival where
bottom
you
fell out.
lost $500,000 though, Arias?
Not 500. We were close. I
Okay.
want to say we
So
probably
you're
lost
not quite
a
as
few
good
hundred
as me.
thousand.
You're
But
approaching me, but not quite
no,
there.
no, no, no.
Okay, good.
You've got the belt on
We
that one,
just
my
want to
friend.
set up the hierarchy here of, where we all are.
Absolutely. So yeah, so we move on to so I said, this isn't working. California sucks. I'm gonna go back home. So I packed up my crap, went back to Dallas. I landed at my grandmother's house, first, just like, hey,
Got a
use your
couch?
spare bedroom.
Yeah.
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 And then I went to my aunt's house, and I started. I have a brother from my dad. and we kind of connected. And he said, "Hey, I'm working at this one company. You can go work there." And within a year, I went and worked at the largest digital marketing firm in the world at the time. It was Reach Local. They've got
Yep.
I think 3,000, 4,000 employees, multiple continents, all that kind of stuff. And that's where I got my formal digital marketing training. I, learned Google AdWords, and I learned, account management, and I learned how to set up a campaigns and all those different things. It was like, oh, this is what happens kind of on the back end. I
Yeah.
had intuitively got into marketing, and this gave me like some formal training. I got some certificates and all that kind of stuff. And I was there for a few years, and then I started my own agency. Been doing that ever since.
So here's what's interesting to me about just the world. And I talk a lot of, look, the show's called Middle Age Mess. I usually get people on who are a couple of years older than you. We talk about kind of how things have changed and how different it is from when like I grew up with what's going on now. And what's interesting to me is that there's no longer a need to have a company. There's no longer a need to go through the steps of evolution in a corporation or anything. If you come out into the world now as a professional, as an adult, and you are motivated and you have some discipline to go and learn the tools like you did, you can start your own thing and be at the same level as anybody else who's been out there for decades. And I love the
Yeah.
stories of people who say, fuck it, I ain't dealing with this company anymore. I'm going to do my own thing. But what gave you the confidence to say, I'm going to leave this 3,000 employee company and go strike out on my own, do my own thing?
It was probably just the fact that I had people asking me, like, "Hey, man, I hear you do marketing. Can you do some marketing for me?" And yeah, I mean, I'm already doing it over here. You want to pay me some extra money? Sure. And then it just became a thing where it was regular, and I started learning how to build sites and all these different things, and I started making more money doing that than at my regular job. So it just made financial sense. Like if I didn't have to wake up at 6 a.m. and haul myself to this freaking office,
Yep.
how much more money could I be making, even though I'm already making good money, if I did this all day? So I took the leap. It's been a ride, but it was definitely the best decision I've made.
So you're doing a little bit more than marketing now too. I think you got a couple companies going on. Let me tell me about what else you're doing besides marketing.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean
your bio's
everything
long.
surrounds.
Aries, your bio's long. I mean, it's a long, multi-volume, encyclopedia of stuff. We got to get into it.
Yeah, so Webster Berry Marketing is the agency. We're full service. We build websites, apps. We do social media management, ads. We buy ad space on billboards and TV and all that crap, right? So we full service. When I say full service, even strategy. We have a CRM that is all encompassing. So we build most of our marketing campaigns, our websites and funnels on Ignite Funnels, something we launched about 2 years ago. Which is absolutely amazing tool that helps entrepreneurs get everything they need to run their business.
So wait, so tell
And
me a little bit more about that. Ignite Funnels. What does that mean? You give entrepreneurs everything they need. What does that mean? As an entrepreneur myself, what does that mean?
yeah,
What do I get?
yeah. So as an entrepreneur, like you've got this one platform that you have your website on. Maybe you're using Mailchimp or something for your email. Somebody said that you need to send out a text blast, so you go get this little service over here to send some text messages. And hey, my payment processing is over here. Maybe I sell courses, so I use Teachable. You've got all these different programs, and the issue is trying to get them all to connect and talk. And we've built on almost every platform on the planet, right? I mean, from the Klavios and the HubSpots to Wix and Squarespace, we got deep into WordPress and all those different things. The issue is the average entrepreneur does not have the bandwidth or the talent to deal with all of these different platforms.
Yeah.
So Ignite Funnels was built to take all those things that we know you need, from the website to email marketing, text marketing, payment processing, analytics, all those things, and put them into one platform so that you don't have to fiddle with trying to get them to integrate.
Okay. And what else? There's more. I know there's more.
Yeah. Door number three is actually the thing that is off in the background here, Launch Ignition. So, Launch Ignition was born out of me actually turning a lot of business away about 4 years ago. We have kind of a minimum with our agency. We realized that if we didn't, we were wasting our time and customers' money, in the fact that they weren't really ready for marketing. We had a lot of customers that would start, they say, "Hey, do you have any smaller packages?" We say, "Yeah, we got some small packages. We'll get you started." We'd start with the marketing, and eventually they say, "Hey, can you turn it off?" there's too many customers coming. We're getting all these bad
We can't
reviews.
handle all the
People are
money. We
pissed.
can't handle all the winning. We're,
Exactly.
we're winning too much. Stop winning.
And that's what I'm like, what do you mean turn off the marketing? You just started 2 weeks ago, right? We
Yeah.
planned this whole thing. We did all this work, and now you want us to stop. So, we said, hey, we'll put in a minimum so that we're only dealing with companies that can actually handle the volume. And in doing that, that's a big swath of entrepreneurs that, are not at the point that they can spend, 5, 10, 15, $20,000 a month on ads. Launch Ignition was designed to find those entrepreneurs that are really still trying to get it going or trying to make that first six figures, move into, the high six figures, and help them figure out what's broken in their business. Help them move from idea in their head to profit in the market.
Got it. And so give me your sweet spot. Who are the people you're dealing with? Like your primary customers?
For Launch Ignition,
Yeah.
we deal with a lot of solopreneurs, those that are in their first, year to 3 years. So typically, companies that are at, 5 employees or less, usually around 100 grand or less. Those that are in the service or digital space, digital products, they have service-based businesses, or maybe they have some products and they're in the e-com side, but they're still small. They're mom and pop. They're still trying to figure it out.
But then Webster Berry Marketing, that's like your primary vehicle, correct?
Yeah, it's the main business. That's the agency. That's where we do all that's where all the magic happens, we'll say.
Right. Right. I like it.
um, but but yeah, I mean, Launch Ignition was something that I had 4 or 5 friends of friends and uh, people that had asked about us doing marketing for the agency, and we had said no. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do a kind of a coaching program. I'm going to coach these entrepreneurs because I was already, mentoring entrepreneurs. I've been doing that for a long time. But I said I'm going to formalize the program. I'm going to put some structure to it. I'm going to take them through a system, and I'm going to help them get to their first $100,000. It worked really well, and to date we've had over, I think, 110, 12 entrepreneurs go through the process,
Oh shit.
and they've all, yeah,
I mean, that's a
and they've
pretty
all
decent
been
number
through
you got going
referrals.
on there. That's not bad. Give me a quick case study. Give me your biggest success. Somebody who came in who was just a loser, who you turned into a beautiful swan.
I can't say anything now. They're gonna watch this thing and they're like, he called me a loser.
Okay, so somebody who came in who needed some help, and you provided all the help that you needed. You don't have to give me the name of the company. We'll
Actually,
call it XYZ
my
company.
star client,
Yeah.
her name is Jonah Prather. She goes by Coach Dr. J. She is she's amazing. She is a coach. She's an author. She's a college professor. She actually helped a whole social work or master's in social work program get accredited. So she
Okay.
went through an accrediting body and got them their accreditation so they can actually, administer their program to students for a college. So she's a beast. But she's been in academia for forever. But she has some very serious entrepreneurial dreams. She's been at this thing for, I want to say, I think 6 to 8 years, and
Yeah.
she's made, few, thousands here, 10,000, 20,000 there, but she hasn't really been able to crack the code. And we were able to take her from what she had been working on for 6 years, just trying to get her offer out and make some money consistently. And within 8 months, we were able to completely retool, relaunch her business. And she started making 5 figures within 90 days of her launching.
No shit. All right. Arias, I might be calling you.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I got bills I got to pay. All right, tell me who are the
Hey.
people who should be calling you? Who's your primary demographic? Whoever's watching, tell me who's your guy that is going to benefit from your services, or girl, the case may be.
Yeah, I would say if you're under 100 grand in your business, actually, if you're under 250,000 in your business, and that typically means that to me that you have not identified a consistent lead source, a predictable lead source, and you haven't made the fulfillment of your products or services predictable. You come to us and we will help you figure those two things out. We'll figure out where you're going to get clients or leads so you can turn them into clients, and we'll figure out how you can take the talents, the products, the services that you have to offer to solve problems for customers and get that to them faster.
Awesome. And so where are people going to find you?
So launchignition.ai, www.launchignition.ai. All of my businesses, my book, all the different programs and different things that we have available is on my personal website, ariaswebsterberry.com.
Well, Arias, I tell you what, I love stories like yours. It's just my favorite. I love people, accomplishing their dreams. I love people being in situations that are okay, not like failing, like being in a corporation or a company, a mid-level, whatever, and they just say, you know what, I'm doing fine and I'm paying my bills, but this isn't what I want to do. I want to go out and do something big with my life. I've got a dream, and that's what you did, and then you're able to accomplish it. You've always obviously set up a wonderful business. You're helping people all over the world with your talents. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a huge goal with Launch Ignition. It's called 100x Impact. So I've got a goal to help 1,000 entrepreneurs make six figures in a year, and 100 of those entrepreneurs make seven figures in a year. We've got that as a goal on our calendar by 2026.
How many have you got so
It's a
far? How many so far?
We have helped four people hit six figures so far.
Okay. On our
So
way.
we got a long way to go, but I'm excited. So the fact that we haven't done any marketing, everyone that's going through our program has been through referrals. It's all been organic. Just others that have been in the program and said, "Hey, this is working for me. You should jump on board." Is a testament to the program. It's a testament to my team and the software that kind of sits at the center of this thing. We are going to hit the gas, which is why I'm doing things like this, coming on podcasts and doing interviews and all that kind of stuff in order to expose the fact that we are here helping entrepreneurs make an impact.
Right on. Well, I love what you're doing. I hope somebody out there in the middle-aged mess world is going to give you a call. Remind me of your website again.
AriasWebsterBerry.com.
Arias
So
Webster.
ARIAS Websterberry, like on the screen.com.
Okay, awesome. Everybody out there in the world, thanks again, Arias. I love talking to you. I appreciate everything you're doing. Go to ariaswebstermarketing.com. Do a like, do a subscribe of Middle Aged Mess. Check us out, middleagedmess.com, YouTube, and we will see you next time.